Hi everyone. I want to repeat the presentation that I gave in New York City in Rethinking Water conference in September 2025. So the purpose of the presentation was to talk to the audience about rethinking education in our business. So basically, this is the index that I tried to put. It was around 35 minutes, 40 minutes of for discussion. So I started with a brief history and about the Water MBA. I asked the audience a few questions so they can understand the importance of education and they realize themselves, which are the challenges that we find. We then, the next point, we talk about education, the key aspects and the problems and barriers that I'm finding when I try to put the Word MBA initiative in certain forums. What are we now today in the Word MBA? Statistics and community, etc. I share a challenge with the audience. I'm sure that 95% of them will fail. It's a very easy challenge, but I'm sure they will fail. And in this failure, they will realize why it's so difficult not to get education and ongoing learning in the habit of the professionals. I also talk about the future, why I need the help of the water professionals as individuals beyond the corporate also support, and then I prepare a small questionnaire about the questions. Okay. So first point, I appreciated to Alexander Locopoulos the willingness to bring the Word MBA to the table. Okay, he invited us 2 years ago. I said it was too early to showcase this platform. He insisted this year. I hesitated, but finally I think it was a good moment, not just to show what we are nowadays, but especially I wanted to understand which are the needs from the water professional and the audience, and this event was really special, very unique. So I had a very nice insight into what water professional needs around the globe. Okay, so well, first of all, the message was that I think we need to wake up every day with a dedication to uplift others. Okay, so if any of you are in position to help a water peer to do better, I think that's the best that we can do. Okay, wake up every day and try to help a colleague and drive positive change in our industry. A brief story. So I'm not no one special. I'm a civil engineer. From 2012, I've been working in the water industry in many fields, from business development to project stage. I've traveled around the globe, more than 15 countries, visiting clients, understanding how the water is solved and managed in all the continents, South America, US, Africa, Middle East, Europe. And then 2018, there is an important milestone, that is you start to having kids. And then you realize that you are working for the next generation, not for today only. And as I said, they are the reason for you wake up every day. And then, as I said, you start to look ahead and say, okay, I need to work also for the future generations and not only in the short-term benefit. Okay. In 2021, the corporate change, I moved from a very big company of 1,000 employees to another very big holding, but we started a small office with only 10 or 20 people. And I realized that as individual, you have a very powerful tool to drive change in our industry. So your daily action can actually have an impact in your work or in your life. So that's a very important mindset. And then I realized that it was very interesting and essential for me to take the decision to try to do some entrepreneurship initiative, and that's why the Word MBA started. And 2022, I look ahead. I thought that I had 36 years ahead of career, and I said, okay, I need to do something on the long term. I don't just want to limit myself to my role in a corporate company as another employee. So I want to have something on my own. Okay, so all these factors in the end, together with a reflection period, that's okay. Let's analyze what I'm good at it, what do I enjoy doing, what do I want for my future, what do I want to avoid, how can I help others, etc. All these factors basically contributed that water and education, in my opinion, they are two fundamental pillars. If you remove one of these, what's the problem? That life and future doesn't look very bright. So in my opinion, these two columns, I try to put it as a solid foundation on the work that I was going to perform in the next years. Okay, so because I understand that any time or any money that I invest into these two topics, I think the return can be higher or lower, but in the end, it's a return. It's a positive return always. Okay, so that's was very important for me. That I wanted to make sure that any effort that I was committed, there was something that it was going to be a positive impact, regardless the size, if it's a small or big. So basically, all these ingredients came together, and I decided that okay, let's try to create in the long term a place, an educational place. Let's call it business school. Let's call it platform. In the end, it's a place in which all the professionals can come, can talk, can discuss, can share, and in the end, try to be internationally, connecting the dots of the water industry around the globe. Okay, this is the brief story. So basically, as I said, water is a puzzle. Okay, I think Rethinking Water Conference motto is the same. Okay, it's a big puzzle with a lot of pieces. So one piece is politics, one piece is academics, one piece is technology, another piece can be I don't know, water management, etc. So the point is that it's very difficult to get the full picture, because the full picture also can change around the globe. So the idea, the Water MBA in the next few years is, let's try to collect all these pieces. Let's try to understand them, and let's try to put it on the table so we can understand how they connect to each other, and then we can share this knowledge and this information with the water professionals in order that they can take much better decision with the full picture already on the table. I also asked some questions to the audience. For example, the first question was which social media they use. Okay, so I asked if they use YouTube, if they use LinkedIn, that it was maybe the most common platform used for professional. They were not using mostly TikTok. So I understand that water professionals are not in this type of networks, in which there is more kind of entertainment, Instagram, and so on. Okay, so this question was related in order to understand later why the Water MBA is approaching the media in certain ways. Okay. Another question is, do you use daily your email? Obviously, everybody raise up the hand. Okay, so again, this is something that it makes me feel and understand how I can reach you and how can I help you in the best way in order to share with you the knowledge in the most efficient and effective way. They are TV Netflix subscribed, so they have the habit of turning on the TV and watching a few episodes, series, movies, and so on. So obviously, many of them also they were TV Netflix subscribed. They read books. Yes, obviously, most of them they read books. Some of them they prefer paper. Some of them they prefer digital. Okay, so we will see later why the Water MBA is preparing certain approaches in this regard. They engage with online courses. They have MBAs. So obviously, again, from time to time they engage in online courses. Now, what's education? The meaning is really simple. Education is the process of acquiring knowledge, skills, and values to understand the world and improve oneself. It empowers people to think critically. This is very important because nowadays I think most of the people are losing this skill, adapt, and contribute meaningful to society. Okay, this is simple. Okay, and this is what we are trying to do. How we can do it, we will see in the next slide. How we can do this? We can do with formal learning, training program, school, university, non-formal learnings like online courses, community programs, workshops, informal learning, life experience, self-study, daily interaction. We learn and we can educate in any moment of the day, actually, mentoring and coaching, experiential learning, collaborative learning, digital based learning. So all these aspects are a way of educating and sharing knowledge. Okay, so we are trying to select those areas that we think that today is the best way to reach the audience to provide the knowledge. Apart from education, communication is very important. Okay, it transforms knowledge into understanding. Okay, so it creates the connection, and this is very important. Okay, it doesn't mean that we or I have to be the best communicator or professional in the world, but the better you communicate, it can be by speaking or by writing, the better you can transform this knowledge into understanding and to create this impact. Okay, so obviously communication skills in education is very important. I think we are doing much better maybe in writing than in, let's say, in speaking, but I think this conversation that we are having in our TV platform, this type of communication, I think is bringing a very good episode, and I think this is very important. And then always you have to reach an audience. It doesn't matter how much knowledge you have if you are not able to reach those that maybe can get most beneficial, no, from this knowledge. So it's important to reach an audience. And what is this audience? How can I reach the world professional in order to help them? Okay, so we will see later, and this is related to the question that I shared before about the social media and so on. Education and knowledge, which are the key aspects, in my opinion, that I always keep in top of my mind. So education is transformation. Okay, so obviously myself 2 years ago is like maybe the first guy, no, in the ladder, and myself nowadays is in the middle of this ladder, no, and then maybe I expect, no, in 2 or 3, 5 years I will be the big guy, because I am in a transformative journey. I learn every day, so I feel much more prepared for the opportunities and the challenges that are coming every day to my table. Okay, so I think transformation is very important. What we share, I am trying that every world professional can feel a transformation and be much better prepared for the real world. Consistency. Obviously, probably some of you have gone to the gym once, only one day, and they have not felt any change. So, but if you go to the gym 1 year, you will notice this change. So really consistency is also important in education. It's not only about having a fast track course, 1 day, or a 24 hours course in 2 days, and then in the rest of the year you don't do anything. I think it's important, in our opinion, the World MBA. That's why we are every week, we are trying to share something in the size, and the format proper, in order to get this accumulation and this consistency that is actually a learning habit in the end of the day. Long term, usually maybe when you engage in a learning process or in any transformative process, the first year maybe you progress, let's say from 0 to 10, you progress, I don't know, 5%, let's say. But in the second year, usually there is a compounded interest. So if you are working on investment, you know what I'm talking about. It means that you know that in the long term, the progress is exponential. It's not linear. Okay, so in the education and the knowledge and the training happens the same, in my opinion. So, for example, the first year since I founded the World MBA, the progress has been much lower than the second year, and I'm sure that in the following year, my progress in general, okay, I will be much more prepared. The growth and the feeling, and the how I get transformation will be much quicker and much faster than the first 2 years. So this is very important. If you keep the consistency during a few years or during a long period of time, then there is a beneficial impact that is the long term. Then you need to be flexible in the education. I think I've seen institutions and courses that are using slides from 2010. So, for example, a desalination course cannot say, cannot reflect that the energy consumption is 3.7 kilowatts per hour per cubic meters, if nowadays we are reaching 2.7, let's say. So I think the education and the content that these, let's say, programs or training programs are sharing has to be adapted continuously. And nowadays we live in a world that is changing faster than ever. So our professional or the water professional have to be updated as fast as possible. Okay, so that's what also we are trying to with from the World MBA, to be a source in which anybody that is engaging with this can get updated from time to time, and in order to be ahead of the curve and adapt to the world needs. The price is also an important problem for many to access to education. That's clear. I'm not saying that programs of $2,000 or $30,000 are not worth the price that it has. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that obviously this is a barrier for many work professionals to access to high quality education. That's a clear barrier. So basically, what we are trying to do with MBA is that with the lowest minimum price barrier, okay, just to keep the platform and the approach running, okay, and running the cost, and also all these revenues reinvested in new feature and new education tools, I think it's important to have this into mind. So the Web MBA is trying to put this price barrier at the minimum level in worldwide. It has to be accessible also, the education and the knowledge. Sometimes we happen that when you want to find out something related to certain knowledge, it's very difficult to start to Google, and sometimes it's not easy and convenient to access certain type of knowledge in our business. So the Web MBA, I'm trying to put this as simple as possible. Okay, our website is directly the knowledge. Okay, it's accessible for anyone, and then from that you can access in 2 clicks away to anything that you want. You want to the television, you want the books, you want to read something about the courses, or okay, in one place, in 2 clicks away, where I'm trying to connect different pieces of the puzzle. Okay, I will also create a job opportunities in order to have anyone that is interested to look for a new job, etc. Okay, so I'm trying to connect in a very accessible way interesting information through the Web MBA. And then also education has to be a solution. So for example, I'm very obsessed that every professional you join and you register, for example, your WhatsApp group, or you send me an email or a LinkedIn message, I ask you, what do you need? Okay, it's like, okay, how can I help you to solve any problem that you have or any challenge? So if you have a challenge or a problem or something that I can solve from the Web MBA, that's what I'm trying to look for also. Okay, so there is a before and after when I provide to you certain type of knowledge. Okay, it can be an article, it can be a video, it can be a webinar, it can be a book, it can be a guidebook. Okay, so that's why I'm trying to be and obsessed with this. Well, that we need to create something effective and efficient in order to help you as a solution actually for your daily challenge. But also I find many problems and barriers. The first one, and this is, I include myself, is the time. Okay, the time is the same for everyone, 24 hours every day. How do you use this time is what it's changed from one professional to another. Okay, so it depends on what stage of life you are. If you have children, if you are single, if you are retired, etc. If you are young, if you are senior, etc. So obviously, when I ask people to engage with our MBA, please read our essays and articles, watch a few episodes, subscribe. They say they don't have time. Okay, it's the most common response. I understand, but as I said, I think we need to maybe to separate a few minutes every week to get engaged and get updated in certain type of knowledge. For me, this is very important. Short term, I know that many professionals are so busy, they are not even able not to think actually, even in their own work. So it's very difficult for them also to understand that education and getting update is important for the mid and short term. For example, I have a colleague that I asked them, our wastewater professional, like I asked her about the the new regulation of Europe, what else about the PFAS treatment, and she had no idea of what I was talking about after 25 years working in this industry, because she was so on top of the quick papers of the project that she's handling, that she has not any clue of what things are coming. So for example, the projects are coming maybe with new technology and new regulation, and she's not prepared in advance. She's always in an urgency to catch up. So again, the short-term mindset is a real barrier. Privacy. Sometimes, obviously, I would like to see all the data to analyze. The more data we have and the more information, the more knowledge and the better knowledge and the better, let's say, lesson learned we can share with the water professional around the globe to avoid the same mistakes. Okay, but sometimes, for example, obviously, there is certain privacy to share some information. Sometimes public entities are very robotic scripted speeches, so they don't want to talk about anything that goes beyond something that was agreed. So this type of privacy sometimes a barrier to get something valuable in the platform. But I'm trying to break these barriers. Maybe we can discuss privately in conversation, and maybe it's not necessary to showcase in the platform, but maybe this information is received internally through myself. I store it and then I try to put it with my own words, without any reference to any information, and then the knowledge is shared but without any reference from from the person or from the company that is willing to share. Okay. Corporate training. Sometimes I ask, why don't you include Word MBA in your training program of the corporate? No, because corporate have a lot of budget, no, for including training programs. They engage in in a lot of investment, no, in trips, congresses, events, and maybe the Word MBA will be a very useful approach to get them for their employees, no, in the department at a very low cost. And they say, okay, no, all our training happens in-house. Okay, so we have our own resources. But I think this is a mistake, because if then your employees are only getting education from internally, from the department, or from the experience that this company has had in the last years, that is perfectly fine. In the end, you need to be engaged and understanding what others are doing, what others are saying about their experiences, because that's the way that you get question yourself, about how you can innovate, how can you do things better, how can you apply on your own goals, things that others have done. So in my opinion, again, it's important that regardless you have internal corporate training, you must have interaction and engagement with other parts of the world and the industry. Some other people say that I don't know. So it's like they are so confused. They don't know the benefits, of the education. They don't know how to engage with their MBA. So as I said, they look like professionals that are a little bit lost, but I think they can be, guided, to and explain, that the benefits that the education may have into their career. So this is what we are today. So we are sharing knowledge basically and education mainly through different courses or programs. Mainly we are now in desalination and project management. We have our television where we have all our videos, with different nature. Okay, we have interviews, podcast style. We have maybe some more kind of business case study, some episode about artificial intelligence, of how we can improve our skills, in our job, etc. The TV subscription is expected to increase in the next years. I would like to bring series, even movies, and then, as I said, it's a way of engaging in a very interesting way in a video format for those that are more willing, to engage with the video. We have our essays or articles. You can find in your email every week, or you can access directly through the website. Okay, so I think the writing is very powerful, because in the end, maybe in 5 minutes reading, you can have a very easy understanding of the topic that we are discussing. Okay, so anyone, let's say, can read an email anywhere in the in the train, in the metro, in a coffee shop. Sometimes watching a video requires more attention, more time. But reading a 5 minutes article every week probably is the best way, at this moment, to catch up with the educational aspect, of our industry. So that's why this is the area, where we are facing more growth nowadays. Then we are preparing also books and digital products. Okay. I know if you like the paper, okay, so we are preparing certain key books in order that you can order through Amazon, for example, and get on your house, and then you can have a book about, I don't know, different topics. Okay, so we are creating this possibility of having a library of different topics as per the community demand. And then merchandising is not a way to share knowledge, but I just wanted to share that we have the possibility, of having our own T-shirts and so on to feel, part of our community. These are the numbers. Okay, so we have basically the bottom layer are, let's say, social media. So LinkedIn is basically the social media, the place where we have found more work professionals active and willing to engage and to discuss the dynamics of the water business, the willingness to share, to know further. Instagram and YouTube actually have not get much traction, so I'm not much focused now on that one, but LinkedIn actually is working really good. The professionals are, mature, they are really willing to talk. Some of them are active, but big majority is simply accessing LinkedIn, to take a look of what's going on, in our industry. So as I say, even there is no direct engagement. Actually, as you can see, there are a lot of people that are actually following and viewing the information that we are sharing. This is like only a first step. Okay, so we are trying to put something valuable, okay, in order to catch also the attention, in order to, let's say, attract people, because from that first contact, that's where actually the magic starts. The big knowledge and the main value is happening in the top three layers. Okay, so for example, we have our weekly articles, 520. Now I'm recording this video a few days later of Rethinking Water. Now we have 605, so this is growing very fast, in my opinion. And then we have our television with 41 subscribers watching from time to time the episodes, and then we have 11 professionals that engage in our first course about intake and outfall, and we expect that our next course about desalination will engage probably a few more in the next months. Okay, so you can see the numbers are very important. We have been able to reach 140,000 users in LinkedIn through our content that we share in LinkedIn. So 140,000 users, it's a very, very, very powerful way to reach an audience, and a powerful way to influence through communication and so on the water professional. Okay, so that's kind of, let's say, it looks like a media approach, but actually what we are doing is try to have a very active media presence through social media, but just in order to be able to, let's say, to reach those professionals, and from there those that are more prepared to get more involved. In the end, the main focus and the main value is happening with those that are crossing this decision maybe of registering their email, and once they register their email, every Sunday they are reading what we are sharing without the social media noise and without the algorithm impact. Okay, for example, audience location. Let's say we have our articles are read in 65 countries. So this is a huge, massive reach. Okay, in some countries we only have 1 or 2 subscribers. Okay, but for example, United States, Spain, India, Chile, United Kingdom, United Arab Emirates, Middle East, Australia, they are also having a very high, let's say, percentage of professional reading every Sunday what we are sharing. Okay, so this is very, very important. This was a breakdown for the US, just information. This is how our television looks like. So as I said, I wanted to have something typical like a Netflix. Okay, so anyone that is engaged with this type of working in Netflix was familiar with the way that maybe they can watch episodes in the television. Okay, we don't have yet the application that can be downloaded in your smart TV or in your mobile phone, but in the future, once the revenues are enough, maybe part of the money will be reinvested in order to have an application directly in your TV or in your mobile phone, so you can watch directly this one as another alternative for Netflix. So instead of watching a movie about about drama, you can watch a movie or series or an episode about water in your television. This is our website. So basically, directly you have the articles, you can access to them, you can read them. You have the links in the top for the television, for the WhatsApp group, for the sponsorship, for the courses, the library, Ask Me Anything, and so on. And then I'm obsessed with thinking of how can I make that the water professionals that are engaging, or let's say with our content, how they can interact with each other in the future. Okay, so I'm not sure how to do this, to be honest, because, for example, we have a WhatsApp group, but it's at this moment closed for talking for others in order to keep the social order. So I only share the information that I find interesting from time to time, so they can reach 100% those that are in the group. But in the end, imagine that we are 200 water professionals around the globe. How can I make a forum like this one? This is using a famous application in which in the chat you can say, okay, I want to talk about PFAS, so I access to the PFAS channel, and then the professional there are sharing or asking questions about the PFAS. So, for example, can anyone recommend me a PFAS removal technology nowadays? Which is the price? Do you have any reference? And then people around the globe, maybe we are able to select specific key people and connect countries and different industry in an interaction mode. Okay, it's not necessary to be every day talking in the chat, but from time to time, if you're able to put and interact with someone about different topics as per a proper breakdown, I think it will be very interesting. Okay, so there is I will not be the nexus, because now I can put in contact different people that are asking me some things, but in the end have the freedom so through a proper chat in order to engage and interact those that are most active, no, in the water space. Then this is the challenge that 95% of the people that I attended, no, to the conference, and probably if you are watching this video, maybe you will fail. That basically the challenge was, okay, visit our website, register your email. Every Sunday morning, you get a coffee or a tea or whatever you want, and then read only 5 minutes. Okay, you can do it in your laptop or in your mobile phone. It's not a difficult task. Okay, and then repeat this during the next 52 weeks. Okay, because every week I am intending to send, no, a weekly, no, article. And then in again, no, in New York in the next year, I will interview some of you to see how your personal experience and growth compared to today. So I'm sure that those that are able to do this, they will see, oh my God, no, after 52 weeks, I've learned a lot. I understand the water industry much better, but still I have a long way, no, to ahead, no, to keep learning. And those probably that they will read 2 or 3 times the article, they will not notice any transformation. So this is the challenge. Okay, so I'm sure that for those that are able to resist 1 year, no, reading our articles, they will never forget, no, this habit, no, of education through the Water MBA or even through other sources. So they will have always in their mindset a continuous improvement necessity. Okay, and that also will drive change for the industry. And then when someone asks me about the future of the Water MBA, it's like, okay, I feel like I'm driving at night, okay, with headlights on. So I know what is going to happen now in the next 1-2 months. And in 6 months, I have no idea if it's going to bring a turn to the right or to the left, or there is something coming back to me, or I don't know what's coming. So basically, what I know is that every day we are more prepared to seize the opportunities that we face and to solve the challenge that we are going to find during our journey. Okay, so that's the challenge of education and the knowledge. So even sometimes I don't see the return immediately, when I know that every day I am more prepared. So when the opportunity comes to my table, probably I will be much better in position to take this opportunity to our benefit or to the industry benefit than if I don't engage in an educational process. This is more or less a big summary. We're in exploration mode. So basically, I'm trying to look for amazing water professionals around the globe, case studies, topics, in order to, as I said, collect all the pieces, and then to start interaction and connection among them. So we are in exploration mode without any pressure and any urgency. So in 2030, let's say, imagine that we have, let's say, quite a great understanding, okay, of our water business. We know which are the key professionals around the globe who are taking big decisions. Also, what those that are not visible, what things they need, how can we help them, etc. And then probably in 2030 we can face another 5 years of expansion. Expansion means that maybe we can get involved with more people in the Water MBA. They can maybe get more exponential on the information and the value that we share. And let's see where we get. But in the end, is to have a brand, a place that is known internationally in our water industry, and then reputational place that knowledge and information is shared in this way and is valuable for everyone. I said 50 times more than we are today, so this is only a reference just to say that I'm 100% confident that in the next 10 years we can make the value of the Water MBA much better and a way better. Okay, it's not about doing the same. It's about that we can do much better, and this is just getting started. Okay, and how can you help us? Obviously, you engage, you share what we publish. It can be our reading, our essays, or our post in LinkedIn, or you give us a feedback about what you need. Okay, Ramon, please, or the Water MBA, bring a topic about wastewater reuse in certain industry. Look for someone that is able to explain to me what PFAS is about. Please, can you make a summary of a political case study about 2 countries? Anything that you need, give us the feedback. In the worst case, I will not be able to help you, but probably this is added not to our research list. Then we will be able to collect something for you. Okay, and the network effect, as I said, if you talk to someone, recommend to someone the Word MBA, if you want to gift the Word MBA subscription through reading, no, or the video to anyone, please. Any kind of these approaches is going to really help us. And then finally, I ended with a short course, okay, just to ask some question about to see the audience, no, and capacity, no, of solving the question. So, for example, I asked about, science water, in which part, no, of the investment market they were focused, and why there is a large investment opportunity in US water. So basically, there is a massive financing gap that the government cannot fill it on its own. So obviously, the private party has to come in. There is no other way. There is no other way. The long-term view on investment gap in the US water. So basically, it's not expected to improve anytime soon, and will be likely like this for 20, 30 years. So the investment opportunity in water nowadays is probably unique in the history at the moment. How long does water tech commercialization take? Why? So the solution was that the water techs that are entering into the market, they cannot be like a digital tool, no, that maybe they can be implemented worldwide, no, let's say in 1 or 2 years. So they take from 10 to 20 years to get a full, let's say, a technology consolidated in the market. And this is happening because of the different condition that, okay, I already share in a few essays, no, and videos. Main difference between BOO and BOT in public and private models. Okay, this is also one of the questions. The specific market that is expected to grow. So basically, it was about the flooding defense products, percentage of the surface drain into Mississippi River, just a curiosity. So you can see here the power, no, that the geography, no, and the water rivers, no, have in our lives. Okay, so we need to understand in each country how are the water resources in order to understand better how to manage this water. The biggest aquifer in US, so it was the Ogallala aquifer, and it was a very interesting case that there is it's very difficult to resist the political will, or I don't know, the corporate will of the human will to consume the water resources. So it's very difficult to control this overconsumption. So the water level in this aquifer will decline, let's say, forever during the next years until they are mostly depleted or not economically compensated, because the short-term and mid-term benefits from many farmers and so on, or the GDP of the certain countries commands. Okay, so it's very difficult not to get otherwise, but at least we need to talk about this. Okay, we need to be aware of that we are doing things that are not correct in certain aspects. The paradox of drip irrigation, about actually drip irrigation increase the water consumption around the globe instead of reducing. Mediterranean, okay, the gap between university, and real world, and the most trashed river on earth is about Motagua River. So these are really impressive case studies. Okay, so this is basically the presentation that I gave in the Rethinking. So I hope that you like and it makes you think about rethinking education.